Usman Colby Covington is being touted as MMA's mirror match. They're both 15-1. They're both wrestlers. They're both welterweights. You know, they've been beaten and then beat their respective opponents. You know, it's more of a mirror match than our outfits right here.
Absolutely.
Just slightly different details, right? Wrong. Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman could not be more different as fighters, and it's a narrative that needs to change. And it's going to be shown on this Saturday when Colby breaks Kamaru Usman.
Breaks Kamaru Usman?
Breaks Kamaru Usman. First of all, would you say they're both pressure fighters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I would agree. They're both pressure fighters, right? Mm-hmm. Would you say that they pressure fight the same way?
No.
Correct. And that is where everybody's damn wrong. No one goes past the fact that they're both wrestler-based pressure fighters. Colby is a volume-based pressure fighter.
Correct. Constantly
throwing. Literally broke the record for most strikes thrown in a UFC title, or just a fight, in a UFC fight.
Didn't Max break that with Ortega's face?
He might have broke it back,
yeah.
But Colby threw over 531 shots against Robbie Lawler.
Oh, wow.
Robbie Lawler.
Okay, gotcha.
And Usman is not a volume-based fighter. He throws almost nothing, actually. Yeah. He throws very minimal strikes. He uses his forward pressure. He uses forward movement as pressure. Yeah. Colby uses his strikes as pressure. That's one difference. A second difference that nobody talks about. Colby is a southpaw. Kamaru is orthodox. That completely changes the dynamic of the fight for both wrestling and striking purposes, especially when you consider that Colby has way more experience fighting orthodox opponents than Kamaru has fighting southpaw opponents. Yes. And it's easier to enter the clinch that Kamaru favors from an orthodox matchup.
Well, and also I think that Colby. Okay, it's gonna be no secret. I think we both think Colby is gonna win.
Yeah.
But I will say, on top of that, is that I believe Colby is actually right-handed, and it makes sense that a wrestler would be southpaw because wrestlers typically, instead of strikers, they have their lead hand. I'm sorry. Their strongest hand for their lead hand. So that's already going to make Colby better in the wrestling engagements. The only pause for concern that I will have is the fact that Usman has a really, really nice straight right, but I don't think he has the power to stop the pressure of Colby Covington.
You know what's interesting is I actually disagree because I don't think Usman actually has a straight right. I think he has a beautiful arching right hook that he throws very, very wide, but incredibly fast. Occasionally. In the great, you know, he throws it about as often as the Loch Ness Monster spotted. But when he does throw it, it's a damn... Exactly. I think he's maybe thrown it 3 times in his career. But to me, everyone is making this about who's the better wrestler. I don't think that this fight is actually about who's the better wrestler. I think it's actually about who is the more effective pressure fighter.
Right.
And it's essentially a matchup. It's chicken. It's like from the old stupid 50s movies when the good guy and the bad guy drove their cars at each other and the first one to turn loses. That's what it is to me. The first one to back up in these exchanges is going to lose. Both men are going to come at each other, try to back the other fighter up, and try to implement their will. That's each of their fighting styles. Yeah. The way that they do that, though, is very different, and that's where I think Covington is going to have more success than Usman.
Because he's a volume puncher.
Exactly.
And not like Usman. But I feel like in the first round, we'll really be able to say, okay, in the same way that Volkanovski is going to break the pressure that Max Holloway is going to do, because...
Check out our breakdown of that one on our channel as well, guys.
So if Usman is able to break up the pressure, the volume pressure of Colby, then that's going to stop the pressure game of Colby entirely. But if I'm going to be honest, because these are all honest takes here, I don't think Usman has the power in order to get Colby scared of him.
And here's why you're 100% right, that Usman's not going to be able to do anything. Every damn time Tyron Woodley and RDA struck at Usman, what was his response? Every time they threw a strike in open, like out in the middle of the octagon.
Or they take him down, right?
No.
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 No, so back up.
Usman backed up in a straight line every single time they threw a strike. What does Colby Covington literally do every second of the strike? He
Follows.
every second of the fight, he throws a strike. This is how it's going to go down. Colby's going to run, literally sprint right in front of Kamaru Usman. He's going to start throwing out freaking front Karate Kid leg kicks like a jab. Kamaru's going to back up in a straight line. Colby's going to follow him. Kamaru does not know how to fight off the back foot.
He's on the cage at this point.
He's on the
And he's
cage.
going to get taken down.
And then he's going to get right back up. Colby's going to do it again. Kamaru's cardio is also incredibly overblown, which is something that I myself, prior to this deep dive I did into these two fighters, I thought Kamaru had great cardio. He doesn't actually have amazing cardio. He's got amazing strength, and he's got amazing positioning and wrestling exchanges that he establishes position, and then he uses his gas tank very regimentedly.
So very much like a Tyron Woodley.
Similar to Tyron, except with more activity than him,
Right.
which, to be fair, isn't hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get laid once every 24 years, I feel like you have more action than Tyron Woodley does in one of his defenses. But this is what's going to happen. Kamaru's going to get broken by having to fight off the back foot. People are going to see that he actually doesn't have very good cardio, and Colby is going to be able to break him with the sheer volume.
Yeah.
There is one path to victory for Kamaru.
Ooh, and it's off the clinch. If Usman can break and knock out Covington, then I think that he could win. But I don't think he has the power for that because Colby definitely doesn't have a glass chin.
No.
So
He was eating Robbie Lawler's shots like they were candy. They were doing nothing. He was shaking them off.
And Robbie Lawler definitely hits harder than Kamaru.
There is another reason that Colby Covington is going to be able to win. He did get backed up by RDA.
Really?
He did get...
By the volume.
Colby got backed up by RDA, but he backed up, and he actually... The problem is Kamaru backs up lazily in a straight line, so that means he can't reset and start his own pressure fighting. Colby actually doesn't. He backs up very quickly and circles out and then re-engages. So if you look at Colby, he basically makes a triangle. He goes out, it looks like a block of cheese. Out quick, around, back in. Kamaru goes slowly straight back. That's a pressure fighter's dream.
Right.
Colby breaks the engagement, goes off, and comes back in. That's why I think that in the first round, when they're jockeying to see who's going to control the fight, Colby's going to be able to institute his game plan more effectively.
Yeah.
Kamaru, he's stronger, but when he's going backwards, he's not going to be able to do anything.
So I guess my question would be, this kind of comes down to who's coaching them. Colby's not getting coached by anybody right now, but I will say if Kamaru doesn't have a good strategist on his side,
I mean, he's got Henry Hooft.
then
Who is actually, I actually think he's a great coach. He's a great striking coach. He's really good at helping fighters find an effective striking style for them.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say he's the best
Strategist.
or tactician for a specific matchup, right?
So if Usman looks at our video right now and starts training to avoid being cut off in the cage,
Or if he did the Tyron Woodley and actually did back up to invite Colby and takes advantage of the orthodox southpaw matchup, which really opens up the right hand, expects Colby to come back. If he did basically a fake, like he was wilting the Colby's pressure, then exploded.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that would work very well. Or if he actually let Colby get to hit the fence, I think Kamaru's strong enough to turn off and hit on the break, because that is something Colby does that is problematic. When clinches are broken, Colby takes time to reset, which is bad.
Really bad.
Bad. But Colby will break Kamaru. Come back to this video. Leave me really nice comments about how smart I am when that actually happens, exactly how I said.
and if it doesn't talk mad shit, then we love that too.
Because we deserve it in that instance.